Quality schools in every neighborhood. And tonight we're going to have our report on parent and community engagement with highly regarded neighborhood schools that serve students, families, and the communities. Superintendent Martin.
Thank you, President Barrera. I'm inviting up Dr. Julie Martel and Stan Anjan to present this item. And as they're coming up to prepare, I just want to talk about our board's commitment and our ongoing commitment to having quality schools in every neighborhood. But we know that that's not enough. The simple promise and commitment. In many communities, we've realized that there are old stereotypes about our schools, and those old stereotypes are still very much present. So we're determined to work together as a staff and team to provide parents with both information about their neighborhood schools and an invitation to come visit their neighborhood schools. We know for a fact that when parents come and visit their local schools, they'll find outstanding, dedicated educators, talented administrators, and humbly, the best students in the state. So here to talk more about how we're working to welcome parents into our schools, we have Dr. Julie Martel and Stan Anjan. Dr. Martel will speak about our efforts to provide parents with the information they need to make informed decisions on their child's future, and Mr. Anjan will talk about the ways family and community engagement is working to connect our parents to their neighborhood schools by recognizing the fact that parents truly are our partners.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Martin and board members. It's nice to be back again this week. As I move through my piece of the presentation, I will first share our current reality in terms of our neighborhood participation rates in our clusters, and then I will follow that up by sharing some strategies that we're implementing, but will continue to implement. As you can see on this first slide, we have several clusters that have exceeded or reached our expected neighborhood participation rate of 80%. La Jolla, Mira Mesa, Mission Bay, Scripps Ranch, Sarah, and University Cities have reached or exceeded the 80% NPR. The Henry and Point Loma clusters are nearly there, and the Claremont, Hoover, and Morris clusters are moving in the right direction. Our new family and Family Welcome and Enrollment Center opened last August. And Marceline Marquez is the director and loves to have visitors. So if you have not had the opportunity to visit the enrollment center, please stop by Annex 11. Since the opening, the center has served on an average of 3,000 families each month. She also, her staff, and Marceline promotes clusters and neighborhood schools by streaming sites, videos, and photo highlights of successful programs that are going on in our schools. When you walk into the center, you will feel this customer service atmosphere. We modeled the facility after like Apple stores. So customer service is a high priority in this center. She has a multilingual staff and the technology and support to assist families with online enrollment. So it's not necessary for families to always go to the school to enroll. They can come here and have the services provided here at our district. As you know, last year we moved the choice window up, and there was some concern about doing that. And I think people were afraid that families wouldn't know and wouldn't get their applications in. But due to a robust information campaign and the support of the communications office, we actually increased and exceeded the number of applications, 11,000. And there were actually fewer applications that were late due to this campaign and efforts that Marceline's office and the communications department put into place. I love this slide. I know it looks a little complicated with a lot of lines, but I really believe that through the increased communication, collaboration, collaborative problem solving, and strategic planning, that we continue to strengthen the cohesion within our own organization. We have many departments in this organization, and with our cross-departmental work together, I believe is having a positive impact on strengthening our communities of quality schools in our clusters. For example, with the TK to 12 Logan Heights Educational Center, that's actually almost, the facility is almost designed. We're currently going to begin to work on the instructional program. Right now, there are at least 5 or 6 different departments in our organization that are working to make this happen. We're working with FACE, Stan's department, our communications office, our Office of Secondary Schools, and of course PPO and FPC, all coming together to work together to make sure that this project is just going to be a state-of-the-art TK to 12 community school that this community of Logan Heights really deserves to have. 2 years ago this April, Lee and I presented 11 concepts to action as strategies for increasing our neighborhood participation rate. I want you to know that each of these strategies are in motion. They may be at different stages of implementation, but they are all in motion. In May, just to highlight a couple, in May, Maria Nichols and I will come forward and share our recommendations for making some revisions to the magnet program. You did see Roy McPhail had some optional boundary areas that you made some decisions about. Last week, Lee and I were here and shared and provided an update on the long-range facilities master plan. And as you know, because we spoke about it last week, but we have 2 innovation centers open, Morris and Crawford. Hoover is currently under construction, and we will begin to develop the design plans for San Diego High School and Lincoln. So as I mentioned earlier, I will continue to facilitate and move these concepts forward in our efforts to create quality neighborhood schools in every one of our clusters. With that, I'm happy to turn it over to Stan.
Thank you, Julie. Good evening, everyone. So as Julie mentioned, all of this amazing work that's being done to engage and bring in our prospective families and have them understand the pathways that we have for their students. We also want to ensure that we continue to connect our families with a variety of supports and initiatives that will enhance their experience here at San Diego Unified so that they can continue to be partners in what we believe is essential work around educating our students. So we launched the Family Community Engagement Department this year with these 4 core equity levers, and then from those 4 core equity levers developed belief statements. Those belief statements have been essential in ensuring that we have grounded our work around what we essentially believe in, right? And so as the year launched, we really felt that that the work around environments worthy of families was the place where we needed to start the work. Ensuring that as families engaged with our schools and as they engaged with our district spaces, that they were feeling that there's a space that's welcome and, more importantly, that's safe. And as we have found in the climate that we now are in, this work has been essential in ensuring that we reiterate, reassure, and let our communities know that our schools are safe spaces and that children are here and can come on a daily basis to learn with amazing teachers, with staff that are here to support them, and with district personnel that will give them the tools that they need to be academically successful. And so as we've launched this work around environments worthy of families, we'll see that there was quite a few events that have taken place that the Family and Community Engagement team has launched this year that has really grounded us in this work. And so we launched this year the Equity Coalition, which is a new coalition bringing together all stakeholders to come together to really hear students' voices around what areas they felt they needed to be heard in, and so that we could then bring stakeholders together an opportunity to start to identify where we have where we're able to then help support them in getting the necessary tools and resources that they need. So at the last Equity Coalition, for example, we did speak about safe spaces in schools, and our students were able to really verbalize and share what concerns they had. And as stakeholders, parents, district personnel, even our students themselves, were able to come together and develop action plans so that we could really bring forth those necessary issues. And so, and not just bring forth, but have some great action steps put in place so that we can say that we are really addressing what are the core issues that our children are bringing to light. We held the Celebration of Light event this year. The Celebration of Light event was groundbreaking in that it was one of the first time that we as a district had brought together a variety of resources to address community concerns around what was the post-election climate and the very uncertainty that was arising from that. We had over 60 nonprofit organizations represented, all bringing resources for our families, with almost over 600 attendees. And the response to that event has been just amazing and has continued as we have launched community forums from that event with some very key stakeholders such as Alliance San Diego High School PTA has been one of those organizations driving this work, along with the Mexican Consulate as well, and Immigration Forum. And these community forums have kind of helped support local communities in receiving resources and information that we know is essential to all community members. We've also started driving the community and cluster-wide equity conversations, and that we launched at the beginning of the year with Dr. Pedro Negura, and he really came and brought to light the idea that as a community, we must all roll up our sleeves to support the community and to support our students and children. And so we've been driving this real underlying work around ensuring that we are going to be providing strong community spaces for our families, and trying to change the climate so that families understand and students understand that we are safe spaces.
Before you go to the next slide, I'll just put a frame around what you've just said, Mr. Anjan, because the inception of the Family and Community Engagement Department, you know, we spent a whole year last year developing this department, and the board had the vision that we were going to have more parents engaged in multiple different ways, meeting them at their point of need. And you've just outlined here so many different ways that the inception of your department was founded upon, and that we were going to go beyond what we would build on what we had, parent workshops and ways to educate parents, but to create the engagement part, the E part of FACE, and how do we engage families so families have multiple access points. And these are some examples, and I know there's more coming, but I'm putting the frame around how your whole department, we spent a whole year with the board very clear on what did we want to do. If we have a certain percentage of parents currently engaged through the avenues that were already in place, what would it look like if we expanded that? And you clearly have outlined what the guiding principles are, what the equity levers would be, and now we're starting to see what that looks like and feels like in real time. So keep on going.
Thank you. Yeah, so we are a new team and a small team, but we are we hope to be a driving force, and really to be responsive to the community. None of the events that we've initiated have come from the department in that we ourselves identified it. They've all been identified by community members, by parents who've been vocal, and community members who have shared a concern and have brought it to light. And that is really what we hope to be, is a place for community and parents to have a place to respond on behalf of them. And so the other areas and initiatives that we move forward with are this idea about parents as partners, and really that parents do have a very critical role to play in the education of their children. And so, to give you some examples of what that work has looked like, we have just recently launched the High Impact Home Strategies, and that has been a great and taxing evolution of ideas circulating around what is a good strategy that parents can access, and what tool can they actually have. And so we launched with what's on our webpage currently, routines that parents should utilize in their homes to connect with their children in an effort to start utilizing these high impact home strategies. And when students are reading at home with their parents, what kind of questions should they be asking? And when they're communicating with their teachers and their staff at school sites, what kind of questions should parents be asking that will help drive and inform families on the academic supports or resources that are needed to ensure that their children are successful? We've also had our resource teachers heavily working with school sites through PLCs and ILTs, the instructional leadership teams. Some of the work that they've been leading has been in identifying content areas such as writing, and then having our staff work with families through some design thinking processes to develop parent-based workshops so that families are engaged in the actual development of how they can support their families at home. So it's been really amazing to see that happen. One example has been at Montgomery through the STEAM work and their STEAM grant, bringing parents and students as well as staff members together to go through a design thinking protocol where they have essentially gone through this process to better understand how they can collaborate in this new grant and the work that they have. We've had a continuous work done around partnerships. So the partnerships such as with the Kearney community and Flood Church, looking to really look at how they can change the perspective on what a safe school is. And so they are working with the ASB as well as parents to develop a series of assemblies that will help drive a core value movement at their school site. We've had our resource teachers leading restorative circles with parents. One prime example at Knox Middle School that just occurred 2 weeks ago, and having our parents get a sense of empowerment in this process and understanding what the values are needed for their community and what supports and resources they can then bring based off of this. So we've been, again, just very recently all onboarded and now really driving some strong and strategic work in our school communities to start developing stronger communities with community voice at the center of the work. We've also just recently launched our partnership with SDA and the Home Visit project. Our resource teachers were, as board member Whitehurst Payne mentioned, we're at Johnson Elementary School with SDA and participated in the training around SDA Home Visit project. And this work, we believe, is essential and core in ensuring that teachers build strong relationships with families. It was a very moving training. Some very personal stories that came out of that, and how the work around this can impact the lives of our students. So we're really excited to continue to explore with SDA how our resource teachers and our team as whole can continue to support this initiative and this growth around this project. So we're working closely with Lindsay Birmingham and Jonathan Mello in this work here. We've also, I know at the very beginning of the board meeting, we heard a parent come up and speak from Clay Elementary School around the Raising a Reader and program, the opportunity that their child as a kindergartner has to take a literacy book bag home on a weekly basis. So this program has been in the Department for Family Community Engagement now for a few years, and we are looking to work closely with them to expand to more of our elementary schools in the upcoming year. And what that will look like is that essentially it is a program where our kinder students have access to literature, and they're able to take it home on a weekly basis. And so our early literacy resource teacher alongside community assistants are supporting this work currently. With also some very interesting work. As you heard, another Clay Elementary School staff member and parent come in and talk about the Family Friday Avenue. And so our early literacy resource teacher is working on Family Friday videos for parents and staff members, so that teachers have a resource to play in their classrooms that builds a skill set in the families that come to view it, and then allow them an opportunity to practice in classrooms. So it's a resource not only for staff, but for parents at home. And so we hope to have that up actually on our new Family and Community Engagement webpage that we'll be launching next week, which we've been working with communications on. And so we have a very engaging Family and Community Engagement website going live in the next week or two that will become a resource for families and our community partners. It'll be a one-stop shop where parents can access information around all sorts of district-wide events, initiatives, as well as information. Okay. Our neighborhood centers are one of the initiatives that I spoke to all of you earlier this year in September, and we are really excited to say that each one of our resource teachers is functioning out of a neighborhood center currently, and so we have 7 currently open, looking to open an 8th one, and that will be opening with our early literacy resource teacher. Those neighborhood centers are in multiple middle schools and 1 high school. Those are Knox, Bell, Montgomery, Claremont High School, Memorial, Wilson, and Mann Middle School. The biggest news around this is that we have just worked a partnership out with Jerome's Furniture to help actually create those neighborhood centers and furnish them, to develop them into what we believe are welcoming and worthy spaces for families to come in, gather in, learn, and be participants of our community. And so although we are finding ourselves in some fiscal issues as a department, we have been able to leverage partnerships to be able to continue the work that we know needs to continue for our families. And so we're really excited around this partnership with Jerome's. The other partnership that we will be initiating with these neighborhood centers is a partnership with the Mexican consulate, and they have they are working on being able to provide English classes through these neighborhood centers for families out of them. And so we're working to solidify all of the details around that. But it's another resource I believe that a parent actually requested earlier today. So how many and where they will land is still in the air, but we're really excited about the dialogue around that, as well as how we can continue to provide other services out of these neighborhood centers for families. So our continuing work, we've always been a believer in continuing to educate parents, and so our Project Ujima work will continue and has continued. Our parent university work has continued as well. And Computers on the Go, those are our parent education programs that entail a variety of initiatives from A through G through college readiness, as well as literacy, math, and specific content areas around Common Core. And so we're constantly engaging parents and educating them around what necessary information they need to have to be engaged parents in this educational system. And as well as a variety of other places. So one of the things that is continuing will be, and is actually new, is the Advisory Leaders Roundtable, and that is that we'll be bringing all of our advisory chairs together to begin to dialogue around ways that we can build and develop a strong parent leadership council that will help really allow us the opportunity to take our parent leaders to be advocates, whether it's at the local level, state level, even national level, thinking about what the needs are of our community, and having them be the driving force to support our schools and our school district. And so some of the conversation that we've had has been around how do we get some of our parents to Sacramento to be advocates on behalf of this financial crisis, and how do we get them to be the voice that Sacramento hears so that we can bring funds to our school communities. And so we're really excited about that. I know that the DAC president and the DLAC president and the other advisory presidents who I've spoken to in initiating this conversation have shared an excitement around being driving forces to support our district in what is a tough climate. We also will continue our amazing work with the PTA, who we have had strong relationships with, and we'll continue to work with them through, the support of our regional and local, and then of course our state with the School Smarts program. And Design Thinking Cluster Project is on the move. I mentioned a few of those design thinking processes that have occurred recently and how they've helped kind of bring a community together around specific content or specific areas of academic growth for our school communities. And then, of course, we have our parent survey that will launch as part of the Healthy Kids Survey in April. And we're excited to actually get a parent survey that will gauge, from a data perspective, what parents are feeling about our individual school sites, our district, and how we can help use that data as a place for growing and becoming an even better district than we already are. So that concludes our presentation on LCAP 5, and we open up for questions and discussion.
Great, thanks Stan and Julie. We've got some speakers, so we'll call them up first. Chris Larson, Celeste Kozaki, Dan Nyamanga, Francine Maxwell, DeAnthony Peterson, B. Fernandez, and Barbara Flannery. Please come forward. You have 3 minutes each.
Francine Maxwell, District E, activist for education. It was amazing that the privileged board trustee said that maybe people aren't aware that Lincoln is highly regarded Latino. We are one. It doesn't matter what race you are. You can rebrand it any way you want to. So your comment that we don't know what our school community is, we have many nationalities in District E. So when I speak, I don't speak for African Americans. I speak for children. Children have no color in District E. Second of all, it says highly regarded. We're not highly regarded in District E because because look at the funding. Look at the inequity in our schools in District E. There is no school north of 8 that would have an interim principal. Oh, we pay her hourly. Wonderful. She's a consultant. She can be whatever she wants. The melee of vice principals that have gone through that particular property. So I need us to be careful when we say highly regarded neighborhoods, because you don't respect District E. You don't respect the taxpayers' dollars, because you've given this superintendent millions to waste. Quality assurance has never come up here and given you a report. You know how much money quality assurance is costing us. The parents that have been dealing with the FACES resource teachers, they're given the wrong complaint form. They have Title IX complaints, and they're given uniform complaints. These are parents that should be trained on how to write a complaint so that their things are timely, whether it's Williams Act or anything. So quality assurance, they're nothing. They give the parents the same answer that the principal has already given. They make a phone call, they call the principal gives them the answer that they told the parent, and then quality assurance gives it to them. So FACES should be an advocate for parents. No, they're towing the company line. I want you to rest assured that you have done a great job implementing a wasteful department, because they told the company line. Parents do not know their rights. They do not know their power. But we're going to change that, because we are in a moral movement right now. We are going to stand up, and we are going to help educate each other, because you're trying to take us backwards. The fact that a school board trustee had the audacity to say that the school is primarily Latino, like nobody knows. Baby, we are one. What affects an African American affects a Latino. When an African American rises, a Latino rises. Your superintendent, your only employee, does not meet with AAAE. How can the superintendent pick and choose? She makes too much money to pick and choose who she meets for. AAAE has not had an appointment. You've reconstituted, oh, we're going to have an equity coalition. She meets exclusively with LGBTQ. She meets with Latino advisories. So why would she disrespect AAAE and not ever meet with them? You know why? Because she went and got a group of African Americans that love to rebrand racism. They rebranded. Racism is still racism, people.
Chris Larson. Thanks, Dr. Bartel and Mr. Anjou, for your presentation. A couple things I'm excited about, a couple things I have questions about. The kind of spider chart that you showed, I was interested that there didn't appear to be any parent community groups on that, which I think reflects probably a reality, and I think that that's something that we need to address as a total community. A couple weeks ago, I went to Sacramento to the LCAP stakeholders session, and I was interested in the fact that of all the people that I met there, I seemed to be the only member from a community group. A lot of people from school districts, schools, whatever, but I was the only community group member, and there was a lot of interest in that. So it made me proud, but also kind of surprised that there weren't more of me up there. This is an opportunity for San Diego Unified. Let's not blow it. There was a lot of talk there about family engagement versus family and parent empowerment, and I think that's something that Francine referred to just a few minutes ago. The parent involvement and engagement can mean many different things. I think Cindy talked about going beyond. Let's do that. Let's go beyond, and let's recognize grassroots, community-based parent groups. I'm glad to hear that all of your events have been generated by parents. That's good. That's a positive. So that's all good stuff, but I do think that there have been many missed opportunities. I've been up here. I know you're tired of seeing me. I'd much sooner not come and, berate you, I guess, but that's what I'm feeling. As I become more familiar with the people and issues in the community, I realize that the district is really letting down English learners and their parents. please don't disregard us. We do know what we're talking about. Don't miss an opportunity to build meaningful, and I repeat, meaningful engagement with parents and community advocates. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the school board, Superintendent Cindy Martin. My name is Celeste Kozaki. I'm the president for the San Diego Unified Council of PTAs. I wanted to share a letter from the California State PTA in regards to the School Smarts program. Dear Mr. Anjan, on behalf of California State PTA, we would like to thank San Diego Unified School District for their collaboration and partnership in implementing the School Smarts Parent Engagement Program. Over 2,400 parents graduated from this award-winning research-based program last school year all over California. Parents increased their ability to be more engaged in their child's school, understand that their child's first teacher, and become more empowered to advocate for a complete education that includes the arts. Last year, over 120 parents graduated from the School Smarts program at 7 school sites in San Diego Unified School District. Parent participants were from diverse backgrounds from all over, from all education levels. All parents reported an increase in understanding the school system and how to better communicate the school with school administrators and their students' teachers. At school partners, you help create a welcoming school environment for parents to attend the 7-week program and become part of their school community. California State PTA is proud to be a partner with you in this work, and we look forward to continued partnership with you and parents in your school community. Parent and family engagement is key to student success and to effective implementation of LCFS. We thank you for allowing California State PTA to be part of your school and district community. I'd also like to add that I'm fully aware that there's a high level of frustration and anger about some personnel changes. PTA does not comment or speak on these particular issues. However, what I can advocate for and highly encourage is to direct that energy behind that anger and frustration to look within ourselves to come up with a constructive dialogue. We heard a lot tonight about collaboration and partnership. So in this time, we cannot control what's happening at the state and federal level, but we can have a little bit of a say what happens at the local level, and that really kind of happens through effective community and authentic family and community engagement. So just a call out to all those. I am fully aware of the frustration. I feel it, and haven't had much sleep in the last few weeks. So I just highly encourage and want to implore that everyone would look within themselves to be part of a constructive dialogue and conversation in regards to addressing the needs of our students who need it most. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Manga. I'm with the San Diego at Crawford Community Connection. I work with the PSRO, which is a group of community parents and residents who like to advocate for their children and their community schools. And I'm here to just to support and really encourage the Vision 2020 on parents and community engagement, the kind of work that has been going on. And it started when I started actually, but then it was B and Anders who was leading the department, and it was a shaky at the beginning. But once they started to communicate and actually sit down and listen to what parents really want, it started to work out, started to come out and actually have structured and very wonderful conversation with parents in different languages, and send staff to come to the community to meet with the parents at their own level and in their own language and start the conversation. And that relation started to grow, and it grew, and then over almost a year ago, we did the design thinking, and that was the magic for those who were there. That was like the spark that brought to fruition the need for more engagement and better and community empowerment. And then what I really like to encourage is the journey that the department has started in trying to understand what parents really want, what the community really want, to understand the different, understand that each individual clusters are different. They're never going to be the same. They are all people from different backgrounds who have different needs. And to be able to meet them at that level and have a real conversation, and that's why we have seen the Faces department has been actually the gateway towards parents reaching out and participating in the school, San Diego Unified District. I'm sorry to say that also. And then STANS came, and I'm looking at when we did the design thinking, well, now we have staff members posted at a community schools. We have at Man Middle School, we have 2 staff members who are posted there who opening up the doors for the parents to actually meet with the teachers and meet with the principals and know what's actually is going on within the district, what actually do you want from the community and the parents, and build that connection. And so, and also I want to encourage that to continue with that spirit of wanting to know and wanting to understand and reach out to the community. We're actually waiting for you to continue with that spirit, and I would like to congratulate Stanley for building on the spirit that B started and continue to bring in more communities and more parents towards making our schools safer and better places for our children to be. Thank you.
Beatrice Fernandez, 261 Twin Oaks Avenue, Chula Vista, 91910, and I'm really here to support the work of the FACE department. As many of you know, I just retired and I left this department after having worked in parent engagement since 1989. And when I came to you at the end of last year and presented the framework to you, it was wonderful to see the support that this board gave us, because I can tell you that it was the first time in 27 years that this department got the support it deserved. All those years, we were like the stepchild doing good work, good workshops, good events for some schools, some of the time across the district. But I think we have the opportunity now to do something that is more systemic and is deeper. And as I sat here and listened to Mr. Anjan's report, it just made me feel so glad that some of the ideas that many of us have had for this department are coming to life. It's something, you know, we need to acknowledge a couple of things. Mr. Anjan did not start into the department until August. The resource teachers, the new ones, were not hired until mid-November. And to see, and my department, I still call my department, they were there, you know, keeping the department going as this transition happened. But today, it's great to see the work that you have done, Stanley, because I think we're moving in the right direction. And to work with parents and community and staff is one of the most important things, because we can do parent events and workshops till we're blue in the face, but to really have systemic change is when you really partner with parents, teachers, principals, classified staff, and community. So I think that this department is doing that. They're taking the baby steps in a few months. They've done a lot. I really look forward to the new things that are going to happen. We've been in this place before with a lot of finger pointing. Why did this department get cut and this one doesn't, whatever. But I want to remind you, this is the first time this department has actually been funded to this degree with state funds. We have always been funded by Title I, except for about 1/3 of a secretary. But I need to thank the LCAP and the vision of our state, because they made parent engagement a priority and made us think about what are we doing in this district and what can we do better to engage every family so they can work with their children and that they can be successful in this district. So I want to applaud not just the board for the support, but also for Mr. Anjan for taking this. I don't think you thought this job was going to be this hard, you know? But I can tell you, this is one of the most gratifying things that happened to my life when I came to this department was working first as a research teacher and then as a program manager, is to work with families and staff. And I'm really proud to just know that Raising a Reader and Family Fridays are still in the district. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Barbara Flannery, and my information is on file. Studies show that a main indicator of student success is parent engagement. I was excited about the new family engagement department, the re-envisionment of what it should be. I'm always reminded that everyone looks at things through their own lens, and I'm hoping that the department will get a chance to pause and take stock of what they're heading for, to reach out to the communities and to work with the communities in a partnership to see what the parents feel community involvement is for them. Thank you.
Board questions or comments? Who wants to go first? Dr. Evans? Yep.
I agree with what was previously said about, we have some great events, but obviously the great events do not include everybody, just like we had the Ballard Center, but not everybody was coming down to the Ballard Center. So one of the things that I was most excited about was this issue, and this was I believe in partnership with SDA, was were the home visits, because that's where you're really getting on the ground. Even when we talk about grassroots parent groups and so forth, not every parent is involved in a grassroots group, but actually have that direct contact, which already happens spontaneously, of course, in many cases with teachers, but really making that part of our system where the school and the home are tied together. Because when we talked about this whole department, the idea was we knew that the superintendent was reaching out very well to the most activist parents in the district, but what about all of the rest? And this is something that cuts across all socioeconomic strata in terms of the degree of involvement parents have with their children and their schools. So I think that the more we look at what is that one-on-one contact with every single parent, again, like I always say, nobody drops their kid off at the pediatrician and then asks them when they get home, what did the pediatrician say? And we just need to have such. We talk a lot about enticing parents, but we need to have such high expectations of our parents that when you're putting a child in our school, this is what we expect of you. And then the other part of this that I don't think was really talked about here, but is when there are situations where there's very weak support in the home for the students, what are we doing to find those, to identify them and have an adult mentor for that child too? So that's not exactly a question.
Very thorough report. Thank you for all your work.
I too want to thank you for where you've come, and I know that there is a long way to go. Everybody, every parent wants his or her children to learn, and I think we all want the same thing. And it was very good to hear from B. Fernandez about in 27 years. This is the first time we funded this program to this extent. We're reaching out beyond the parents that John talked about, just the parents who will be there anyway, regardless to where the children are, they will be there. We're trying to reach those parents who are not there. And this is what my goal is, my dream is for all of us here in the district to reach beyond, and not just you, but for every classroom teacher, every aide, whoever it is. We all represent every child in this district. And as a representative, I don't care who you are. If you work for the district, people see you and they expect you to know something about the district and to be there for their children. And so I just wish we could expand you, but that all of us will take ownership for every child in this district, the learning, the success, and whatever else is going on with the children. So, thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank you both as well, Julie and Stan. Stan, I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit on the rollout of the high-impact home strategies. How are we doing that? And
So, well, one of the things that we plan to do is have videos placed up on our new Family Community Engagement webpage that would highlight the high impact home strategy. And I should have mentioned this earlier, but one of our new partners actually are the San Diego Gulls, the hockey team. And what they've committed to is having some of their hockey players actually film the high impact home strategy to be put up on our webpage of them utilizing it with their own children and modeling it for our own families. And so that's one of the ways that they want to be able to give back to our community. And so we are currently looking at working with them to get those videos up and published, I guess, so that and streamed so that our families have access to seeing a real model, as well as similar like to a Rely video that we have for our teachers. We'd be providing something for our families, which is a little bit more in depth and detailed, less of a model and more of a walkthrough, if you will. And so those are two online tools that we have to roll out, as well as our family and community engagement resource teachers being able to provide parent workshops at a cluster level through our neighborhood centers on what those will look like, so that there's some actual engagement with our...
Will some of those videos for parents be in Spanish or other languages at all?
Yeah, we will. Everything we plan to push out will be in multiple languages so that we can address all of those barriers that we believe may occur with languages, yeah, so that we don't have that.
how will we make parents aware of the videos?
So, I mean, one of the things that we plan to work on with communications is a very strategic rollout with that. And so we're looking to not only push it out on the webpage, but have it accessible to our school sites, on their web pages, so that they have access. So families go to their the school web page, we have it pushed out on there as well. So there's a variety of ways that we're hoping to get the word out. One other thing is that not only are we looking for partners who will help a video, like the goals, but partners who, like the public library or other nonprofit agencies who are currently servicing our communities, be aligned with our high impact home strategy, so that they are also messaging that, and so that there is strong alignment in that work we do.
And the Rely videos, teachers can use the Rely videos, but we envision parents using them. And what happens is, if you feature them in one of your Family Fridays, and the principal shows a Rely video and teaches parents how to use it, and they go through one together, then they'll realize how to do it and they can access more of them. But we start using it as a general way that we interact with the public in the gatherings that we already have with parents, and then they start habituating themselves to using it online when they're at home.
And thank you both. You're both really holding a legacy that people have worked on in this district for decades, as we've heard, and you're doing it extremely well. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Can we get a motion on item F1? Second. Please vote. And Dr. Whitehurst-Payne, you'd like to introduce item F2?
I would. Thank you, Mr. Barrera. Item F2